Hey guys, this is Hans Hobbies, and this is a review of the SD Gundam uh, Zaku 2 Cross Silhouette. So this is a newer SD release that came out. Let's see, trying to see if it says what year on the box. I don't see it, but I'm pretty sure it's a new release because I haven't seen them around before. And I just saw one sitting on the shelf at my local hobby shop. So I did make a video of this before, um, where I opened the box, unboxed it, and had it all built and gave my like first impression, initial thoughts kind of thing. But the video was kind of rushed, and I thought I should do it a little bit more justice, by going into it a little bit more into detail, because I also missed a bunch of stuff about it. So I'll be referencing that old video, so you can check that out. I'll have the link in the description, so you can see that video. But in the previous video, I mentioned how the neck wouldn't go down. It was kind of stuck at like that angle, and the reason for that was because again, I'm me, which means I'm dumb. So I didn't build it correctly, and also the ball joint here kind of needs a little bit of trimming because uh, when it was molded, it has a little mold line in the middle, and that kind of gets caught. So you want to build it so that the ball joint is slightly tilted. So in its full resting position, the head's slightly tilted downwards, like straight to its tilting downwards, because the joint that's actually supposed to be able to make it move upwards is a completely separate joint. So if you look in there, the neck joint moves up and down, which lets it have that upwards motion, which I think that's a pretty that opens up a lot of posability options, and it's kind of cute looking at it, making it look up like that. Yeah, so like my initial thoughts wasn't very high for this thing, but the more I kind of like mess with it, the more it's kind of growing on me. I think it's just because I was so used to the old ones. This one's so much different that was kind of jarring. But if you look at it by itself, it's a pretty nice kit, and it says it's only 800 yen. I paid like $10 for it, which it's a pretty reasonable price, and it only took me like 6 to 10 minutes to build it. Um, not using any tools unless you count the hobby knife you use to put the stickers on, and then kind of shave the ball joint for the head down a little bit. So yeah, and the other nice thing is all the parts you get with it, you use every single part because it doesn't share parts like a lot of the high grades do or the master grades do. Every single sprue is unique to this kit, at least the Zaku kits. So I'm not sure what other Zaku kits are out right now. If the Zaku's out, the Char version is probably out or going to be coming out. So you can comment if there's an update on that. So yeah, and all the equipment is a lot more detailed and has a lot more features than the old one. And it's also nice that you can store all the weapons on the kit. So you can have the heat hawk in this hand, which again, it's a really nice heat hawk. Has a yellow clear piece. I wish they would do the high grades like this, because this is a really nice effect. I think I like this better than having like it molded in and having you paint it yourself. Because a lot of modelers would paint it, but a lot of more casual Gunpla fans would just leave it not painted and just completely silver. Sorry about that. That's just paint because I was painting something and the paint sprayed all over my hand. I don't have a disease, I promise. The Zaku machine gun has the removable clip, but that's just because that's just how it's built. You can see there's a big peg there, so it's not super realistic, but I guess you can use it for that effect. It has a articulated handle, so it can actually hold its weapons two-handed, which is pretty impressive for an SD Gundam. So this one you gotta kind of have it like that and have its eye positioned a little sideways. Let me get a pencil, move it. Yeah, so you could have it like that, which is pretty neat. The weapon that it seems to hold better, this clip keeps falling out, but is its bazooka, which as you can see, the bazooka mounts to the back. It has a little peg on it. You also want to be careful because this is very, very flimsy. So you want to glue that, or just be careful moving it because this is a very hollow piece and it's only on there by that much, and it's really thin parts. So I'll probably end up gluing that. I usually don't like the bazookas that come with the Zakus, but this one I don't mind as much because it can actually hold it properly. Unlike a lot of the other Zaku figures. So yeah, it has a little peg and a little hole, and you know how holes and pegs work, so that's pretty simple. I like to have it a little tilted because I think that looks better than just having it sideways. Especially since the bazooka is taller than the whole Zaku. But this just clips in like that. And then you move the handle out. And because this handle articulates down, you can actually have it perch on the shoulder and have him hold this hand all the way, and then have him looking down the scope like that, which I think is a pretty cool look. So yeah. Oh, and also it comes with these, because now the SD Zaku has legs, it has place for these leg missiles. I'm also not a fan of the leg missiles either, usually, especially on the master grades and the high grades when they come with them, because they usually have a little loop and they just flap around. I like how this one's done better because this one's just a peg on the side, so it doesn't flop around. You can still like aim it and stuff. And they're much smaller, so it doesn't really get in the way. Articulation wise, it is an SD Gundam still, so it doesn't have much articulation. The arms move all the way up 360 degrees. There's shoulder articulation that moves front and back on both sides, and that's how it can hold its weapons. This lower arm like pivots, like swivels on both sides. It's kind of awkward to do because they're very stubby parts. And obviously the hands are on ball joints, so they can swivel and also rotate. The shield is on a ball joint, so that can be posed, and same with the shoulder armor here is on a ball joint, so it can pivot and all that. The head, as you saw, can move up and down, and it can swivel side to side. And if you pop the head up, or you can get a little stick in there, you can, there's a little tab there you can pose the eye with, but I find it just easier to just move it here. It has a waist articulation here, and the leg swivels and moves side to side and front to back, but not very far, because this leg ball joint's not very good. So that's as far back as it goes, so as far forward as it goes. If you move it any farther than that, it will move maybe a little bit farther forward, but the knee armor gets in the way. Stuff is falling off now, but it's a very short motion, and the ball joint likes to pop out, which I'll get to in a little bit. The ankles also move forward and back, side to side, and swivel because they're ball joints. But the leg popping out and the arms being very loose, I mentioned it in my old video, like the previous video. This kit has no polycaps, which I don't know why they did that, because even the really simple, like the old version, came with polycaps. So I don't know why they couldn't just throw in a little sprue of polycaps in there and make it that way, but I'm not complaining too much because overall it's a pretty good kit. I also do wish it came with some Zaku, like Xeon stickers and stuff, but those stickers aren't that great anyway, I guess. So you'll have to detail that up yourself. So yeah, other than that, it's pretty simple. Like, you can see the detail in it. There's a lot of panel lining opportunities if you're into that. You can also pin it up, and they're really cheap, and they look pretty cool. So it'd be nice to have a bunch of these and just have like a squad of them. That would look pretty cute. For like size comparison, I guess I'll do that real quick. Here's the old one. So this one's much bubblier. And then here's a master grade one I'm working on. It's not fully painted yet, but you can see master grade is obviously much larger. And then compared to a high grade, here's a high grade. So you can kind of see the size differences there. But for being an SD, it's still a decent size. And I think I do like this one a lot better than the other SD lines that came out. Like, forgot what they were called. It's like the XD or whatever that the other series was, where you can like use parts of it for like weapons that don't. The gimmicks on that one that just didn't make any sense. So yeah, the gimmick on this one though is, if you didn't see my last video, it has the option of having the CS frame, as it's called. So what it comes with is the SD frame, because it has a full inner frame, which is pretty interesting. But you can get this SD frame, and what that will do is it'll make the figure slightly taller, and also it'll give it arm and leg articulation, which this does not have. And from looking at it, it also doesn't seem to have polycaps, which is disappointing, but I'll try to track one of those down, like I said, and then do a review on just the frame. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any information that I missed on these, please comment. Subscribe for more hobby related stuff, whether there's RC or Gundam or action figures or whatever. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.